Dr. Saundra, why are we stressed and anxious and not able to rest? What is going on and what do we need to know?
I think for many of us, we just don't understand really what rest is. I know for myself, for a long time, I thought I just needed more sleep. Sleep and rest seemed like they were the same thing. But what happens when you go to bed at night and you wake up 8 hours later and you're still tired? That's
Mhm.
where I found myself at one point in my life when I became very exhausted with no understanding. And really, for me, it took me along a journey of evaluating what does rest really mean? What does it look like? And out of that came those 7 types of rest that I spend so much of my time speaking about and sharing about.
I love this because many of us are like a hamster on a wheel. We're like, okay, I need more rest, or I need more caffeine, or I need to do some Pilates or something. What are the things that you think holistically we need to be implementing into our life's balance?
Yeah, so it depends on which type of rest deficit you're dealing with. So, of the 7 types of rest, the 7 include physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, social, sensory, or creative. And so, depending on where you're pouring out the most, you may have a deficit in that area, specifically if you haven't been very intentional about pouring back into that specific area. And so, what I find is, for example, we mentioned sleep. If someone is putting all of their eggs in the sleep basket, which
Mhm.
is primarily physical, but their deficit is in emotional, they're needing to spend time with people where they can be authentic, where they can
Mhm.
pour out, where they can share their heart without having to hold back. You can sleep all day and still not restore your emotional rest deficit. Same as
Mhm.
with creative rest. If your deficit is in that you are someone who is very innovative, you're thinking outside of the box, you're a problem solver, you're using a lot of creative energy. If you sleep, you're not doing things that are inspirational or motivational that are pouring back into that sleep, into that creative deficit.
Mhm.
And so I think that's the disconnect that many of us have. We know we're tired, but we don't know what kind of tired we are. So we get the wrong type of rest, and then we say rest doesn't work. But what actually the issue is, we are not actually getting the type of rest that we personally need.
Mm. Okay. And so talk us through it. What are practical things we can do in each of the 7 areas?
So with physical, it's divided into 2 components. You have the active, which is sleeping and napping. Those are how you get the passive
Big
component of
fan.
physical. And then the active component of physical rest include everything from stretching to doing a leisure walk to making sure your lymphatics and your circulation is appropriate. It includes the body ergonomics of your workstation and where you're at. It's all those things that help your body heal itself.
Mm.
With mental, it includes those things that help you to be more mindful, to be more clear in your thoughts. So,
Yeah.
any activities that allow you to clear that mental space and to be able to concentrate and to focus your attention, to remove those rumination type thoughts that are the worry type thoughts,
Mhm.
so that you're able to narrow your attention. Mindfulness type practices that many people use for that, or meditation can be other ways of doing that.
Mhm.
Spiritual rest specifically looks at your relationship with God. And so, whether that is something that you're specifically looking at, as far as many of us, we think of religious practices, reading our Bible, doing devotions, those can be a part of spiritual rest, but it's really more about building that relationship. It's
Mhm.
really more about intimacy. And so it's not so much, can I spend 10 hours in prayer? It's, can I spend time in his presence with my mouth closed,
Mm.
simply enjoying the presence and that relationship.
Yeah.
With emotional rest, as we mentioned, that has a lot to just do with sharing our emotions authentically. Creative rest is the rest we experience when we allow ourselves to appreciate beauty in
Yeah.
whatever form that is for us, whether that's natural beauty, like spending time out in nature, or even spending time looking at things that are inspirational to us. That could be nature, or it could be a painting or artwork, it could be music. So anything that allows your childlike awe and wonder to be awakened. Sensory rest is the rest that we experience when we are letting our senses have a reprieve from all the onslaught from the sensory input
Yeah.
in our environment. So it's time away from electronics. It includes time in solitude. It includes evaluating how you use your gadgets, turning off the notifications on your phone, or at least limiting them so there's not so many of them. It includes taking moments when you're driving to not have the music on or the sound on.
Yeah.
So anything that downgrades that sensory input is a part of the sensory rest you can experience. And then final social rest deals with looking at your relationships and how different relationships pull on your social energy. Many of us, we spend a lot of times with people who need things from us. Then we have to take a look at who are the people who don't really need anything from you. They're life-giving. They're the people who are pouring back into you. And so that we don't spend all of our time with the people who are always demanding from our social energy, but we also make space in our lives for the people who want to edify us and to uplift us and to pour back into us.
Yes, I love that. And I can identify with all of those. Dr. Saundra and I just did an episode for her platform, which is amazing. Can you share about your platform for a sec so people know how to find you?
Yeah, so it's simple. iChooseMyBestLife.com is our website. And it's I Choose My Best Life podcast radio show. So you're able to listen to us. Probably the easiest ways are all the iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or you can also reach us on the Keeping Him Close By radio station.
I love that. So on her side, we just recorded and I was like, hey guys, here's real life. I teach the stuff, I know the stuff, and I have just been burnt out. And I can identify with all 7 of those. So especially the technology, right? Sensory overload. And I have a lot of clients that are learning for themselves as well, that we're indoors all day, even fluorescent lights, technology, internet signals, all of these electromagnetic frequencies, everything that we're around is just constant sensory. I'm reading this book by Ruth Haley Barton, and she is unpacking the need for silence and solitude to recharge. And I had a season where I had so much alone time that then I came back in the full rush of a normal American pace. And sensory overload really took me out, just having silence, going on walks, not having a ton of people needing something. And I have a good friend that, several good friends that are new moms, and they're like, hey, I love my kids, but can we have a friend time? And the guys watch the babies, and then we just are not needing that. And we're on the, looking at a beautiful veranda somewhere and not having to constantly be on or giving. So I think it's really valid to break it down into those 7. Because to your point, it's like, but I am getting sleep. I am going to bed. And yet I still wake up feeling groggy or tired or burnt out, and I don't want to engage in things. And so what would you say is a signal to someone that they may not realize, oh gosh, I need more creativity, or I need more spirituality or mental health? Because it's not like we have a little dial on the inside telling us what we're needing.
Yeah, so that was one of the main questions I got after my book Sacred Rest released was, okay, now that you've said that there's these 7 types of rest, now what? And so we actually have a free assessment at restquiz.com. And that to date, over 250,000 people have actually taken the assessment to help them identify which of the 7 types of rest they're most efficient in. And so that's something that I would recommend that your listeners do. You get an email that basically tells you your level of deficit in each area. And so then what you can do is you can take that one that we've identified as the highest level of risk and focus your attention on that specific one. So that way you're not trying to eat the entire elephant. You're taking a small bite at one area where you can begin to make intentional restorative practices a part of your life. So you can start seeing the benefit there first, get some energy, and then you can work on some of the other ones as you go.
It's so true. Because once you even just get one of those little meters filled up more, there's more capacity and momentum to want to work on the other areas. I love that. Thank you so much. And Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith, remind us how people can find you and how they can find that quiz and your book.
Yeah, so the book is Sacred Rest, Recover Your Life, Renew Your Energy, Restore Your Sanity. It's wherever books are sold. The website is iChooseMyBestLife.com. That's where you can learn about everything we do, including the I Choose My Best Life podcast, as well as all the other services that we provide.
Love it. And is there any last takeaway that you want to give our Unlock You community?
Yeah, the last thing I would say is next time you say I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, my question to you would be, what kind of tired are you? Because once you identify that, you then give yourself the power to be able to make a change.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And we'll see you all for the next episode. Bye, guys.
Thank you for investing in yourself, your family, and your team. We are honored to serve you and your vision.